You're listening to the Gleneagle INEC Arena podcast. Keep up to date with all our events by following us on Facebook or visiting inec.ie. As one of the most successful bands to come out of Ireland in the last decade, Picture This have had a whirlwind rise to fame from humble beginnings in Athy, County Kildare to sold-out shows all across Ireland, Europe and America. With 2 studio albums under their belt, including hits like Take My Hand, One Night, One Drink and This Morning, Picture This have placed themselves firmly as one of the most popular Irish bands over the last 10 years and are ready to place themselves on the international stage. I caught up with the lads ahead of their most recent performance in the Gleneagle INEC Arena at the end of 2019. If you like this podcast, don't forget to subscribe to us and follow us online at Gleneagle INEC Arena for more. Picture This. Welcome back to Killarney.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
It's good to be back in the room where you actually, this is the first gig you ever played here.
Yeah, I remember it very well. I remember it being very intimidating because smaller shows tend to be intimidating, and it's quite an intimidating room. It's a great room. I saw David Keenan here last night and he lit this place up and it was very cool. But I vividly remember that show particularly for some reason. I don't know why. I just remember feeling like something was starting to happen.
Yeah, but that was sold out as well.
It was.
Yeah. Long before you actually got here. It wasn't like it sold out the day of it. It sold out pretty quickly. Like the whole Irish tour did for you.
Yeah, it did.
Very early on in your career, like, so what was that feeling like?
It was crazy because you never really expect that. Obviously we'd seen a lot of fans online, but we didn't know there's lots of bands who have lots of fans online, but it doesn't translate to the live kind of thing. So we weren't sure if we were going to be the same as that, but thankfully we weren't, and it sold out so fast, and it was crazy. It was really hard to comprehend, and every time we played a show, somebody would say, remember this because this is the last time you're going to play this room. I remember people just kept saying that. Yeah. Like people from the venue and stuff, and they were right, thankfully. Yeah.
But everybody thought that the second, you started, making traction, these guys are going to be big, like not just playing small venues around the country. But it kind of, that was because I think you were giving off the energy yourselves that you knew you were going to be big. Did you feel that happening at the time?
We definitely felt confident, definitely. I think for me, I was very new. We were all very new to the whole thing, but it was kind of hard to know where it was going to go. Yeah. Because I was very inexperienced anyway in the whole thing. I know Jimmy always had the confidence. He, from Take My Hand, he always knew Take My Hand was going to be massive. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I had the feeling. Yeah. I knew. It's not boastful or anything, but I knew when I heard the song, and I knew when the song went out, I knew it was going to be.
Yeah,
this is different level.
And like, was it? Am I right in saying that you had that song written before you even were a band? So yeah. So how did you meet? How did that come about?
We had met before because we had kind of worked on some music here and there a little bit, but nothing serious. Because I knew Ryan sang, but when I saw his video on Facebook of him playing "Take My Hand" and it being an original song he had written and was playing, I just knew straight away. Yeah. Okay, we have to start a band, because there was a niche at the time for a pop band, like an Irish pop band, and Ireland are so good at doing that. So I was like, it would be great to have this as a lead song, and we could make all our social pages, and we could be this side project, and put out this song, and kind of built it all up, recorded the song, had it ready to go, and then, but I did know that it was going to make some kind of impact. I didn't realize the kind of impact it was going to make.
Yeah.
But it was a crazy time. A time for me that's kind of a blur, I suppose. I was very focused on trying to get it right, and you kind of all of a sudden you're playing rooms like this room.
Yeah.
And you've no idea how you got there, and it's like the power of one song can just change your life.
And it all happened very, very quickly as well for you. It wasn't something that, people talk about overnight success, but it wasn't like you weren't an overnight success either, but you definitely weren't a band that have been trying for a long time to make something of yourselves, like, so.
Yeah. I kind of don't shy away from the idea of being an overnight success because we were. You played us on radio the day after we released the song.
It is. Jimmy, I remember I was emailing Jimmy.
Yeah. What did you message me on?
Facebook.
Yeah.
I said, geez, man, that's a great track. Do you mind if I play it on the radio? And then you were like, yeah, man, I'll email you a better version or a better quality version. I was like, happy days.
Yeah. That was the day after we released the song. That was the next day.
It was, yeah.
So it had an instant impact. So like I said, I don't ever shy away from.
Yeah.
I get the whole thing of people not wanting to sound like an overnight success.
Yeah.
We were, but it takes a lot of hard work to become an overnight success.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to frame that.
Yeah.
Because we worked very hard and we haven't stopped working since we started.
Yeah.
Not even for a second. And I think that's part of the reason why it continued to grow, because we were blown away and appreciative, but we didn't want to kind of rest on our laurels and be like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Let's just kind of...
And you didn't want to be a one-hit wonder either.
No, not at all.
Yeah, and you certainly haven't.
Yeah.
So
we constantly released music after Take My Hand. I think we put out like a song a month after that, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Like I think we put out Take My Hand, and after Christmas we put out another song and another song. But like it wasn't like we weren't just doing it. Like we were doing it because we loved doing it.
yeah.
But it was calculated in a way. Like we were just very proud and we wanted to be very specific about what we were doing. We wanted to be this kind of band. We wanted to do these kind of songs, and we wanted to, like, it wasn't just a thing that magically came together. What magically came together was the success. We never thought that was going to happen. We were just very like, because two of us weren't doing anything at the time. We wanted to do something that we would be proud of and make cool videos and make cool songs, but all the success. And it's mad when you're seeing it from a point of view of being actually in the band. It's sometimes difficult to see the actual success that's happening.
Yeah.
Like you can only base it off what you see on social media, but it's when like our first year of being a band and we're playing rooms like this, that's when you really see it actually materialize in front of your eyes, and it's hard to grasp at times. It's taken me a long time to actually come around to actually knowing the success that we've had.
Yeah. Because
you can sometimes get so focused on, the band and focused on the things behind the scenes. But I suppose that's why we're a good dynamic. That's my job to do that.
Yeah.
And we all have different attributes and great personalities that are all different in the band that we all can focus on things like that. So it's just been amazing. Like the magic is definitely the fans and how dedicated they are, and just it's mad. It's just so hard to talk about from our point of view. I wish I was a fan of the band so I knew what it was like.
You wish you were on the other side, just looking in. Yeah, but it must be surreal looking back, because it's been 3.5, 4 years. Is about that time limit. And the amount that you've all achieved in that very short space of time, when you think about it, like, is incredible. 5 nights in the 3 Arena, which is something nobody's ever done before.
Yeah.
Where was your mind at before and after that? Because I mean, you must have been incredibly nervous, because let's say if something even went wrong on the first night, that's not the best start to 5 nights in the 3 Arena, but it went without a hitch.
It was amazing. Yeah, it was the best week of our lives, I think I can say on behalf of all of us. It was scary doing that, because we announced the 5 nights in one go, which nobody ever does. Usually it's like, we're playing 2 nights, but everyone has like the other nights held, and then they slowly do it. But we were just like, if we're going to do this, let's just do it with absolute confidence and belief in ourselves. 5 dates, and we did it, and it was so scary. And we released a new song that day, One Drink, which was a new sound for us. So it was a real ballsy move now when I look back on it. But at the time, it just seemed like the right thing to do. Yeah. And it was. And we spent so much time working on everything from what we were going to wear to the production to how the set list was going to run and who was going to support us. And it was the perfect week. Yeah. And I wouldn't change absolutely anything about that week.
Did you take a holiday or anything after? Did you?
We did. We did.
Where did you go?
We left on the 5th night. We went from the 3 Arena to an after party, and then we were supposed to go and stay at the airport hotel, but we didn't make it there. We just stayed at the after party, and we went to Marbella, but we don't remember getting to Marbella.
On the plane?
We don't remember being on the plane. I just personally remember waking up from a nap in Marbella and being like, wow.
That's one of those moments where you're like...
Yeah.
I remember the wheels of the plane touching the runway when we landed. I remember that moment of being like, oh. And then I don't remember much after that. I remember then waking up beside Owen.
And it was raining as well when we landed, so we were kind of looking out going, where are we? Like, did we get on the wrong plane or something?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be sunny, it's Marbella, but...
Yeah.
That sounds very rock and roll, but we don't usually go out, or we had just made history, and we had just achieved everything we've ever wanted to achieve, and then it was like, so we're just going to really enjoy it. We did.
Yeah, I actually remember Owen trying to sneak a bottle of Heineken through airport security.
With our faces on it.
Yeah. She wasn't happy. It was a Monday morning for her, so it was like 5 o'clock in the morning. And me and her trying to sneak it was an empty bottle of Heineken, but it's just because it had our faces on it. And she was like, what's in your back pocket? I was like, oh, nothing.
I
I could see it, like
carry you onto the plane, like if you don't even remember getting onto it.
Yeah.
I remember that we were going through and they've got the makeup area, after security, and there was an iPad, and I have no memory of taking photos, but it was the next day we got tagged in a photo, the two of us saying the two guys or two of the lads from Picture This passed through.
Yeah.
And I was like, when was that photo? Like, I had no memory whatsoever of doing it. But
Great night.
Great time.
Great week. Great everything.
Yeah.
And that was, we had a couple of weeks off for our American tour.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a well-deserved break. We don't take any holidays really.
Yeah.
So a holiday together as a band was a lot of fun, and looking forward to when we do it next after whatever gigs.
Was it your first holiday together?
Yeah, kind of was.
Yeah.
Kind of was. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we travel obviously together all the time, and we've been a lot of crazy places together. But an actual organised holiday
and our break from everything else.
Yeah.
So, can we go back a small bit, because I want to talk about when you started to gain traction, because it was just the two of you at that stage.
Yeah.
And then you were starting to grow, and you're kind of like, hold on, something's actually going on here. I think we're going to need a bigger band, because you play guitar, you play drums.
Yeah.
So, when did the two boys get the call to come forward and join Picture This?
I'll tell you the full story. So, Cliff was the first person I sent to take my hand to, and Cliff said, "I'll do anything to get involved." So I kept that in the back of my head, and then me, Cliff, and Owen have been friends for years, and we've played in bands for years and years and years and years. So we all know each other very, very well. So Cliff obviously was the first one I sent to, and then Owen. We asked Owen straight away, pretty much, "Do you want to play in the band?"
Yeah, I remember it was January 3rd. The two boys came over to my house.
Yeah.
So we're starting this band. I was like, yeah.
Quit your job is what we said.
Like I had a decent job and all, and it never crossed my mind to say, well, I don't know about my job. I said, straight away.
What were you doing?
I was working for Intel.
Oh, very good.
So, yeah.
You're smart, so
I'm all right.
It was a fun time, like, and so it was pretty much straight away. Like, the only problem was that the two boys had commitments already, so it was kind of like, finish them up, and then let's get going, because we didn't start gigging until April.
Yeah.
So we had released the song in October. We didn't actually play a gig until April. So it was pretty early on. We said to the two boys, like, we need you to join the band, and we actually need to play a live show.
Yeah. I actually remember we were auditioning a guitarist and a bass player before we asked the lads, and we were auditioning them in Cliff's studio. Cliff has his own studio.
Okay.
And there were these two guys, and they were terrible.
Yeah.
Really nice guys, but they were really bad.
I hope they're not watching.
I hope they're not watching either.
Sorry, guys.
What was their names?
But it just didn't feel right. And I remember saying that to Jimmy. We had auditioned a couple of people, and I just remember saying to him, I don't feel like I can be in a band with these people. A couple of them were good. Like, it was just like, but I just don't feel like I can be in a band. And then we were auditioning them in Cliff's studio, and it was the first time I met Cliff.
Yeah.
And I just loved him instantly. I just had like a click with him. I was like, I really love this guy. He's really nice and really easy to get along with. And
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah. My opinion has since changed. No, but he was great. And I just remember leaving, and as we were driving out of his studio, I just turned to Jimmy. I was like, does Cliff play any instrument?
Yeah.
And Jimmy was like, yeah, he can play anything. I was like, right, we have to get him in the band.
Yeah.
And he can barely play bass now, so it's good.
That's actually mad, actually, thinking back on all that, because there are moments that are a blur as well.
Yeah.
Because you're not focused on, like, it's happening so quickly you don't have time to take it in. So even talking about it there is bringing back such crazy memories of just how things started to come together.
Yeah.
And trying to play a gig and trying to rehearse for the first time.
Yeah.
Like that was mad, trying to actually rehearse for the first time. And Nicky, who plays guitar with us now, had to fill in for a couple of gigs for Owen because Owen couldn't. He was still in work at the time, like. So it was all a mess. Like it was because we had we were rehearsing. Remember we were doing double rehearsals, rehearsals with us, and then it was like Nicky needed to fill in as well. Same with Darren needed to fill in. So we were like, it just happened so fast that we didn't know what to do. So it wasn't really until the summer when we announced our Olympia show and we announced all these festivals, and that's when it came. And we announced the Irish tour, which brought us to here. That's when we all came together. And we rehearsed all the songs, and it was an amazing feeling. And that was it. That felt like the real beginning. You know, the song that first got played on 2FM, you know, and our first national radio play and blah, blah, blah. The song went number 1. That week we announced the Olympias and the Irish tour. That's really when it kicked off, which was like May 2016.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it is crazy talking about it because I remember, I vividly remember sitting in Jimmy's studio. Before our manager started to work with us very early on, who Jimmy knew previously, and who was still our manager. And he called and was like, "We're going to have to play a gig because you've been a band for 6 months and you haven't played a show."
Yeah.
And I just remember saying to Jimmy, I just remember really vividly, just in his studio, just me and him one night, and just saying, "I don't know if I can play a show in front of people. I really don't think I can," because I had never played guitar. I was only learning to play guitar at the time. I'd never really performed in front of anybody.
Yeah.
I remember just saying, "I don't know if I can do this." And I remember Jimmy just saying, "You have to."
You've no
I said it's tough. Because you got yourself into this.
Yeah. That was the Academy, wasn't it?
Yeah, for the Academy show. Yeah.
That's right.
I was there. But I was there all right, but I didn't realise it was a matinee show.
Yeah.
Or it was kind of
It was like in between kind of show,
Yeah, why was that?
I think it was the only available spot we could get.
Yeah, because it was last minute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that was mad. It was like 6 o'clock or something.
Yeah, I came all the way up from Dublin with my friend, and we came in and we got the last 3 songs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We absolutely no idea it was on that early. We just presumed it was like 7 or 8
I think
o'clock.
it got moved from the Grand Social. Was that?
Yeah, that's probably what
that's what it was. It was in the Grand Social.
Sold out the Grand Social, so it was.
That was mad because we sold that out in a day. The Academy. And that was the first band to ever do that in a debut show, which was nuts as well. Like that's what is happening with us as well. At the beginning, like, and it still happens now, but like there was constantly records being broken and things were just constantly happening. It's like, and it still happens today where like the craziest things keep happening or opportunities keep coming about.
Yeah.
And I think it's down to a lot of hard work, obviously, but we don't focus really our attention on anything else but the band as well. So we were very lucky to be able to have those kind of opportunities. But I do remember in 2016, every day there was something else happening. Yeah. It was overwhelming. Yeah. You know, and again, you have to thank the fan base that were just relentless. Yeah. You know, they really. It was great. It was more like a family. I even remember playing that Irish tour for the first time, and it was like we were feeling the buzz, but also you knew everyone there was feeling the buzz. Yeah. And it felt like we were all in it together, or something, you know, which is great.
I think everyone knew at that Irish tour that like this, like you were saying, this is the last time we'll see these boys in Cavanagh's and Portlaoise, like.
But I remember playing here, and I think this was one of the bigger shows on the first Irish tour, and we'd always make predictions, like. And I remember walking into the INEC, the big room with Jimmy. And Jimmy was like, I bet you next year we'll be playing here. Yeah. And I was like, really, man? I think it was then we played with, was it the Coronas first? Yeah, and then it was after that we did like 2 nights here again, which was just insane, and both sold out.
They were the quickest shows ever sell out here as well.
Yeah, they were. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, which is unbelievable when you think about the amount of people that have come through here. Yeah, you know, international acts, and you always sell it out like that. Yeah, yeah. How do you cope with fame? How do you cope with people? Like from when you started getting known, how did you? What was going through your heads when people were stopping you on the street?
I always say it because people always say, like, does it get really annoying that you're not able to go shopping? Yeah, and it's like I feel so appreciative of people. Yeah, like how can you be annoyed by somebody coming up saying I love your band? Yeah. It's like it's the best feeling ever. That's all you want to hear from somebody is that they love your band. Yeah. Everyone can say I don't care who likes my music, but all you want to do, I want everybody to love the band. Yeah.
That's so true. I think that nobody ever says that either.
Yeah. But it's honest. So, it's real. Like I want everybody to love the band, and I hate when people don't love the band. Yeah. I understand it fair enough, everybody has their own opinion, but I want everybody to love my band.
Yeah.
And everybody's always very nice. We've never had any sort of bad experience of anybody coming up to us. It's always just somebody showing their appreciation, or they want a photo to show their friends, or they want something signed for a loved one or something. But it kind of felt natural in a weird way, because like we've said, we were very confident from the beginning, and I'd imagined stuff like that happening. So it's kind of like when you see it in your head so much, it kind of feels normal when it actually starts to happen.
See, it's a bit like The Secret. Did you ever read that book?
Yeah, it is very like that.
Visualizing, what you want in
exactly.
life.
We were subconsciously doing that without knowing it.
Yeah, we were. That's so true. We knew exactly what was going to happen in a weird way, and we worked towards it. And I think that's why, like, when people talk about fame, fame will only negatively affect you if you let it. If you're that kind of person to let it affect you, it'll affect you. Like, we're still the same people. It's still almost funny when things happen. If someone recognizes you or it's like you're giggling to yourself, like wow, this is
kind of like why?
Yeah, like why? Like, this is hilarious. Yeah. But
why is she
again,
walking towards me?
It's the band that's famous. It's the magic that there's a thing there that is untouchable that the four of us make up.
Yeah,
that's what's famous. And if we're the vehicle to express it, people come over to it's great and it's a lot of fun, but we're not the kind of people to let it affect us negatively, because we're Irish. We're not arseholes.
Yeah, there's definitely a difference between Irish bands and other ones.
100%.
All Irish bands are sound.
They really are. Yeah,
they are.
So true.
Like,
they're just down to earth. Like, even like we always talk about Niall Horan, who's like one of the most famous people ever, and he's still just an Irish lad. Like, and it's same with every band, even like The Script or Walking on Cars or any of them. They're just Irish people, and they still have that down to earth quality, and it's a realistic quality as well. We always talk about actually how you sometimes see people go from like this normal person, and then they all of a sudden change their personality and everything to suit this thing they have to become. Which I don't think Irish people are too good at doing that.
Not really,
because they're very transparent already.
Well, you can tell if somebody's a bit of a, but with Irish people, especially, the majority of Irish bands you meet are just lovely, lovely people, like, who love what they do as well, you know, and they're not in it for fame necessarily. They're just in it to make music, and I feel that with G as well. Yeah,
exactly. I was just going to say that, actually. Yeah, I think it is that. I think it's that Irish people in general just love music. It's just kind of, there's just an innate sense of music
and creativity as well.
in Irish people, and I think that's always the main thing, and that's why they're always so down to earth, whereas maybe in other cultures fame is more important than anything, and success. But Irish people kind of have this almost ignorant driven sense of like it's all about the music, and it's amazing.
So they're performers.
Exactly, yeah.
But you were saying as well, that you didn't really you were nervous about the very first gig, and Jimmy forced you to go on stage. Looking at you now on stage, you'd swear you were up there for the last 50 years. Like, you have like your own style, your own sense of stage presence, your fashion sense. Everything is it's like you were born with it. Like, do you feel like you were born to be doing what you were doing today?
I do. I definitely do. I know that might sound a bit pretentious, but I do feel like it's little things make me feel like that, because I'm so bad at doing normal human things. I can't drive.
Can you not?
Can't cook. I can't find directions to anywhere. I get lost in hotels. You can't leave me by myself because I will get lost. But I can look good and perform well and comfortably. And that's where I feel most comfortable, is in those things, which sounds, again, very pretentious, but it's true. And it's things like that make me really feel like, I was actually born to do this. It's almost like, it's almost involuntary. It's like I can't not do it. But I've always been confident in the band. I think it was just, there was lots of new things happening, and performing for the first time was very scary. But since that first performance, I don't think I've felt nervous since that day. I think I kind of got all the nerves out of the way on that one show. And now performing is my favourite thing to do.
after releasing the first couple of songs, it wasn't too long before you brought out your first album as well. I think that happened quite quickly as well for you.
Yeah, we did an EP in August 2016.
That was around the same time you played here, wasn't it? I think.
It would have been
here September, so just a month later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the response from the debut album was incredible.
It really was incredible.
Yeah.
It was. I think it's what I personally am most proud of is that debut album, because it really. And again, this is going to sound very pretentious, but it influenced culture, and it became ingrained in Irish culture. That debut album, and Take My Hand particularly, just it's so in Irish culture now, and it will be, and it always will be, and that's something that I'm very proud of, and we're all very proud of. Lots of people can release music and release albums, and they're cool songs, but very rarely do you strike a chord with people like that first album did. And I don't know why it did. I don't really want to know why, because as soon as you know that, then you'll start chasing it.
Yeah.
But I think it's a thing of like, there was just a magic in that we weren't trying to write hit songs. We weren't trying to write songs that were going to be on the radio. I didn't even know that was how you were supposed to think.
Yeah.
And I think there's like an innocence in that really connected with people, maybe subconsciously. But that album just sent us around the world, and we haven't been back since. And I'm very proud of that album.
Yeah, well, you should be. It's an incredible album, and then again, it wasn't. It was, some bands, take a couple of years to bring out another album, and there's a lot of pressure on that album, by the way, because if it's not good, that can be the end for some bands. Like, it's always the second album test.
Yeah.
Whereas the second album was just as good, if not better, than the first as well, which proved to people that you're not to be messed with. Like, you mean business, like.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's another thing I'm very proud of, is that we not that we changed the sound, that we developed the sound in I guess drastically enough. I'm very proud that we did that, because the obvious thing to do would be to release another album that sounds like the first album, and we recorded another album that sounded like the first album and then put it on the shelf. There's an in-between album.
I heard that. All right, I think it was Dave on Today FM was talking to you about that.
Yeah,
it's a great album.
It's a great album. We'll still do something with it. Definitely, we've been listening to it recently, and it just wasn't the right move.
Yeah,
and I'm proud that we actually had the balls to be like, you know what, this is great, but it's too similar to the first album.
Yeah, and
as soon as we do that, we're pigeonholed into being that band.
Yeah,
that kind of acoustic folk rock band, which it's not that that's not what we are, but we want to be more than that. We want to be that and all of these other things.
Yeah,
and that's why we did that with the sound, and it was a natural progression anyway. But I'm very happy that people took it into their hearts as well, in the same way as they did with the first album, because it was a big risk, but people really accepted it.
Yeah, no, it definitely paid off. I think. What's next? What's 2020?
2020 is crazy.
Yeah,
and we can't talk about it, but we can never talk about anything. But a lot of crazy things have developed in the last week.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
that's very fresh.
That are very on a different level internationally. A lot of influential people have entered our lives that, of course, I can't talk about or name who they are, but extremely influential. Extremely influential people have entered our lives, and
you're more than welcome, guys. Anytime.
Yeah, and they've kind of completely turned our world upside down and are fighting our corner all of a sudden. So you're going to hear about that very soon. But in the meantime, we have 1 million songs recorded. We're always writing songs, always recording songs. We're going to be releasing so much music from the top of next year. It's going to be a lot of fun. And it's going to be pretty like the minute New Year's is out of the way and Christmas is over, that's when we're going to start again our attack. And it's amazing. Like what's about to come is you couldn't really you couldn't say, like, I mean, if you were to ask someone what you think they'd do next, I don't think you'd ever guess what we're going to do next, because it's crazy. So
well, I can't wait to find out, guys, honestly. And
thank you so much,
I think you're the hardest working Irish band that has come along in a long, long time, and I think you're just going to be worldwide in the next couple of months by the sound of things anyway. So
well, thank you, and thanks for kicking it all off when you played us for the first time.
No worries,
that
guys.
Meant a lot
I'd like
to
to think I was your first fan. So
we still have the video of us listening to it. So
do you?
we
I'd love to see that sometime.
I'll get it, and show it to you.
Definitely send it on to me.
Yeah.
Guys,
Absolutely.
I must let you go because you must get ready to play a sold out show tonight in Killarney, and I'm looking forward to that as well. So picture this. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks for listening to the Gleneagle INEC Arena podcast. If you liked this podcast, make sure you subscribe to this channel and follow us online for more.